Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme. New Dundee United manager Laszlo has his eyes on the Championship. Hearts hit back at claims fans will be sold seats that have a restricted view. Lennon highlights a lost generation. Yeah, just a few of the talking points we'll be discussing tonight on the programme. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Delighted to say it's Wednesday. It's Barry Ferguson with us as ever on a Wednesday night. Rather worryingly though, Ruffy, the big man is now calling in favours to get as many people to buy him presents because he's running out of gear. Because you and I just do a quick swap of gear and swap shirts, but he's now looking every shop to see if he can change. This is a fashion parade against him, by the way. So we're delighted to have you with us, Fergie. We're not under any pressure whatsoever with our gear against yours, but we've got lots to talk about. Let's have a look at the morning papers, the back page headlines and the Daily Record first of all. This one is a headline regarding Tony Cascarino has had a pop at Celtic and this 63-game unbeaten run, and I think Neil Lennon's fired back and said there are some games that would make your eyes bleed in England as well, some rubbish games, and just confirmation there of Laszlo as the Dundee United manager, and Brendan Rodgers saying there's nowhere else he'd rather be than Celtic. The Sun, the back page, you're for the eye jump. This is I think it's a disturbing and sad story of allegations of two Falkirk players having a pop at Dean Shields of Dunfermline for only having one eye. If that were the case, it's a sad day. Also, there's Ryan Jack saying he won't have any problem if Derek McInnes comes to Rangers. And the Mail, nice little picture of Andy Murray and Roger Federer, and also Chris Boyd, that story doing the rounds about the Aberdeen players getting a Scotland call-up. And the next one is the Courier, and there you have it. Wow, just Andy Murray with a picture of the CU Jimmy hat on. I think I'll concentrate on the Laszlo takes the reins at Tannadice. So, and also there's just a little sidebar there, Ruffy, on Scott Allen back in action for Dundee, which is nice to see. I think he's a gifted player. Picked up an injury just at the point where Dundee needed him.
Yep, and I think Neil McCann will welcome coming back. You know, we all know that he's got the ability he's got, and he's the kind of player that Neil might need just now. Somebody that can just sit there, spray the passes, bring people into the game, and I'll be hoping he comes back very soon.
Yep, OK. Let's concentrate on the other half of Dundee, and it's United, because Laszlo is back in Scottish football. Hearts fans know him well from his time there when he got them to third in the Premiership. But now he's in charge at Dundee United, and well, I'm sure there were other names in the running, but Stephen Thompson opted for Laszlo, and the new man says his main aim is to get Dundee United at the first attempt out of the Championship.
Dundee United is really a fantastic club with a huge history, and at the moment, we want to go back where we belong in the Scottish Premier League, and this target is really a fantastic target, you know, and it's not easy. It's also a difficult way. You can't be a champion just you tell we are Dundee United and we will champion. We have to do a lot of work for this.
Okay, it may have been a surprise choice. Was he a surprise to you, Barry?
Yeah, I said last week in the show I thought Jim McIntyre was a stick-on to get the job. For the simple fact is, I think he's a good manager, but also he'd ties with Dundee United playing there, and so did his assistant Dodgy, who I know really well. So yeah, it's a surprise, but I remember him being at Hearts and he'd done a real good job at Hearts.
Yeah, I always think, you know, sometimes the managers in that period, I call it the Vladimir Romanov era, sometimes anything that they managed to achieve, at times it was in spite of the owner, Ruffy, but I don't think they get the credit they deserve.
No, I think he did particularly well. You know, I think any of the players that you see talking about him when his time was there, his coaching was good, he was good man-to-man. and obviously just the owner thing cropped up as it usually does. But I never noticed there. What kind of, is it a 2-year, 3-year?
2019. It said.
Yeah. Well, that shows a lot of faith in him. You know, because there's no guarantee they are going to get up this year. You know, so it gives them another couple of years to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's his thoughts on the way ahead.
Krumstaff, he will stay. Laurie, he will stay. He will be my right hand. We will work together. Already I talked to him. I think in this direction at the moment will be stay everything how was before. So no changes. Just come together, go out, work, and do what you done before in this last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so Laurie Ellis will retain his place as the assistant. Not a bad time to take them over. Joint top of the championship. The only way is down.
No, the boy that came in and took over for McKinnon, Ellis, done a fantastic job. Some great results. And it is a good time, as you says. They've went when McKinnon left. They were only 5 points off the top, but now they're joint top. It's a great time to take it, and they should really. Dundee United are a Premier League team. They should be looking, especially with their budget, going up this season.
Yeah, I still think, you know, the only one that could, I mean, there's 2 or 3 clubs all in there. In fact, maybe 4 or 5 clubs all in there battling for it. But as Barry said, all he needs to do is look at that team, tweak it here and there, and they should easily win it. I've got them tipped. I know you tipped Falk at Ruffy, so I'm not going to go back over it. But with the strength they have in depth.
Yeah, well, obviously, Ray McKinnon added Keatons and McDonald. You know, there was a lot of experience between the two of them. You know, they had a midfield and some of the defenders from the previous regime. So the guys will know what it's about. I think it'll just be at the end of the day who handles the pressure, because I don't think there's anybody going to run away with this one, where it's been in the last 2 or 3 years. So I think there'll be at least 3 or 4 teams going for that #1 spot.
Yeah, I think the other unusual thing that Shabba will really enjoy coming back to Scottish football is there won't be a phone in the dugout where the owner of the club tells you to take someone off and put someone else on from Lithuania, as has happened when he was manager of Hearts. So that's Shabba Laszlo in charge at Dundee United. One other main burning bit of news is, of course, Scotland taking on the Netherlands at Pittodrie. Not a lot of seats sold at the moment. I think 11,000, Barry. That will swell in the next day or two. It might get to 13. It's a friendly. I mean, if anything, I think Malky Mackay's looking to throw in a few Aberdeen players, get the locals out there, get them behind Scotland.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why they've took it up there. Maybe when games are at Hampden or Easter Road or wherever they've been in the past, people have not been able to get there. So I think they would be expecting a wee bit more than 11,000. And also with a few Aberdeen players getting in the squad, you would think there would be a decent turnout. But I'm looking forward to the game to see, because there's a lot of new faces. Ruffy will tell you, international football is totally different from domestic football. So it'll be interesting to see how some of the guys handle it. But I'm sure they will. There's some decent players been called up.
Yeah, one of the players that you've been talking about regularly over the last few months is Celtic's Callum McGregor. He's looking upon this match as a chance to seize an opportunity.
Yeah, it almost feels like a sort of fresh start, you know. So many different faces coming into the squad, and we're starting to build, you know, for the next campaign or whatever it is. So, you know, it feels like you've got a certain amount of games to try and prove yourself and prove that you should be in the squad. I think again, as a top player, you want to play against the top, and you want to test yourself as high as you can go. So again, you know, you could have picked maybe easier games or whatever, but these games as footballers, these are the ones you want to play in. You want to test yourself.
I prefer Scotland playing against better opposition, do you?
Yeah, well, I certainly preferred that when I played myself. Sometimes we play nations that are not as good. Sometimes it's a struggle because it's a friendly to get up for it. But you're playing the Dutch, some top players in their team. But he's a player, Callum McGregor. I've liked him for the past year, and I think he's come on leaps and bounds. Just you see the game against Bayern Munich. I thought he was fantastic, and then in Saturday against St Johnstone, he had another fine game. I'm looking for he, especially, can cement a place in that middle of the park for me for the next 10 years in Scotland.
Yeah. Are you optimistic about the supporting cast of other players that are trying to force their way into whoever the new manager is?
Well, I'm excited. I tend to look at midfield because I was a midfielder myself, and I think that's a strong area for us. Scott Brown's, it looks as if he's deciding to stay for the next campaign. He's no He's not come out officially and says he is, but he's in the squad, so that tells me that he's wanting to be there. You've got Callum McGregor, as you've just seen. McGinn, for me, is an outstanding young talent. He's another one that can be a Scotland player for the next 10 years. You've got Armstrong as well. So we're really strong in the middle of the park. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to see how the guys perform once they get a chance, because they obviously didn't get a chance under Gordon Strachan, which was understandable because he had a certain squad and certain players he was happy with. He was really loyal at times, maybe too loyal. But so I'm looking forward to seeing how these young players handle it. But I'm sure, like say Callum McGregor, he's played in massive games. There'll be no problem with him. McGinn, he looks if he can handle it, no problem at all. So looking forward, future looking bright.
Yep, okay. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about a little bit of a feud or a spat going on between Hibs and Hearts at the moment over the development of the new main stand. We'll talk about that among other football stories after this quick break. One year out, absolutely annoying. I get worried, Ruffy, when we put in Bayern Munich win the Bundesliga because it throws people off. It's not really a clue, is it?
No, they won it that often. You know, that's what throws you off. None of the other clues, well, maybe Pretty Women.
Yeah.
But might win for that.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, Bonzo there, he had no clue. He was at 95 and then tried to get into the old classic Gordon Smith. Can I change my answer? Anyway, Hearts have released a statement. This one caught me on the hop, Ruffy, because I started to look at it and I thought, what are they on about? Then I started to backtrack to see that Hibs sponsors Marathon Bet. Some people tweet out things to try and be a little bit humorous, and then you can catch the backlash of it. I think they posted a photograph of the seats, and some of them in the far corner were blocked by the Hearts control room, so you couldn't see the goal. But you know, I think Hearts are making moves. There's a lot of construction work going on, and that will be eradicated shortly. So Hearts released a statement saying that they're disappointed to see a partner of the game in Scotland attempt to ridicule the club based on misinformation and the use of potentially offensive and inappropriate language. This is, of course, once the tweet goes out, people start to jump on the bandwagon and use inappropriate language. It's perhaps indicative of yet another trend which see those who gain so much from the game attempt to demean it rather than support it. For the avoidance of doubt, modifications to our existing control room are scheduled to take place, as has already been fully explained to our supporters. I wonder, see if you were Hearts, would you really bother with that sort of tweet anyway?
I'm surprised how Hibs knew. You know how it was all structured.
Well, somebody's probably building it. He's a Hibs fan. Maybe there's a Hibs fan who's part of the building
team. You'd have to be in the stadium to see what it was like. But I'm sure in this day and age, I think restricted view should be completely and utterly banned. I mean, supporters are paying a fair whack to go to games, so they should get a proper view. Yeah, well, I think by the time the control room is sorted, they'll get a clear view. It's going to be a fantastic stand. You want to see every Hibs goal that goes in. No, when you're there.
Just out of what did you say there, Ruffy? You want to see what?
Every Hibs goal when it goes in.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the camera was on you when we tweet that out, because you're clearly not going to Edinburgh in the next couple of days. What about your old mate Lee McCulloch? Says it's the right time for Derek McInnes to go. It's dragging on, isn't it?
No, I agree with Lee. I've said again on this show that I think Derek's the right man for the job. Done a fantastic job up at Aberdeen. I know Graham Murty's done well since he's come in, 2 wins. But they need to get this one right. This is the third time the board will be making a decision. And I think Dale ticks all the boxes. It's needed to be a Rangers manager for me. Yeah. Well, earlier today I caught up with a Rangers fan, Jim Law, and asked him the very same question, if he was worried about the delay in getting a manager in.
Not really. I think it's obviously a big decision. It's something that the club should take their time on. I don't think there's, any desperate rush to get somebody just for the sake of getting a name in. And it seems to be Graham Murty's kind of holding the ship together quite well at the moment. So I would rather they took their time and got it right. And it's obviously a big decision. So I think it's you want to take a bit of time and do your diligence and make sure you get the right guy in for the job.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Graham Murty. Do you think he should be a contender?
I think he's probably a contender. I don't know whether he would be the right guy for the job. Obviously, doing it on an interim basis as a sort of caretaker is a massively different pressure than doing it in the full time basis. I think by the same token, if you look at somebody like Walter that came in when they took over from Graham Souness, then nobody was massively excited about Walter. I don't think at the point he took the job on, but went on to become a Rangers legend. So no, I certainly wouldn't rule him out, but I don't know. I think it's probably more something the club would know is whether he's got the character to really sort of stand up to the pressure on a permanent basis.
All the talk is about Derek McInnes.
Yep.
I suppose Rangers have to tread carefully on this one because Derek McInnes certainly has a love of Rangers, but he certainly doesn't want to, show his hand too early because that would upset the Aberdeen fans.
Absolutely. I mean, it must be a fairly sort of precarious position for him at the moment. Obviously, not a lot of love lost from Aberdeen towards Rangers. So, I mean, he's obviously got to be very careful in what he says and any kind of indications he gives of whether he would like the job or not. So I could imagine it's quite stressful in the McInnes household at the moment while he kind of works out, where he wants to be and what his long-term future is. Yeah,
is he your first choice, Jim?
I think having spoken to a few Rangers fans about this, I think everybody sort of sees him as a safe pair of hands. I don't know if anybody's massively excited, but I think we need to cut our cloth to suit the budgets we've got at the moment and. It's not like we're going to be able to bring in a Pep Guardiola or a Mourinho or something like that. We need to be realistic about where we are. So, I think he would do a good job, and I think he's a pretty well-known quality within Scottish football and has done a good job at Aberdeen over the past few seasons.
Yeah. What do you make of the financial results, Jim, and the way ahead for Rangers? Because you've mentioned they're obviously going to have to cut their cloth accordingly.
Yeah.
You wonder if Derek would be looking for assurances of a financial budget, bearing in mind that Rangers still have to find another 4 million before the end of the year, 3.2 million in the new year on top of that, plus any escape clause that Derek has in place at Aberdeen.
I didn't know I was going to get asked technical questions like this, Peter, about finances and stuff like that. No, I mean, obviously, the background of the financials is something that, I would imagine any manager coming in would want to have a fairly clear view of in terms of how much scope he's got to change the team and change the squad to his own preference. I would imagine that, he's going to want to make his own impact in the team. To be fair, I think the squad that we've got is doing pretty well. I think it looks as if Kenny Miller coming back in has kind of reunited the dressing room to a degree, and it's probably a kind of similar situation with like Gwen back in the day when he gets shot at Barry Ferguson and kind of seemed to lose the dressing room. So I mean, without knowing the ins and outs of the financials of the club, I would imagine next year I think we'll be in a much better position, hopefully, to get back into Europe. Obviously, there's the whole kit side of thing that's about to, sort of, that'll make a big difference once we start getting money for the jerseys again. So hopefully, the club's moving forward in the financial side, and it's going to take a number of years to kind of catch up to Celtic, unfortunately.
Okay, here's forget those financial questions. Here's a football fan question. What's acceptable to you, Jim, this year when the table finally has 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down to 12?
As a sort of lifelong Rangers fan, you're never going to say you're happy to be in second position to Celtic. But I think, given where we've been and the journey we've been on, I think realistically, second's probably the target of it. 5 or so years of Champions League money, and when we've been scratching about in the 3rd division. So and it's not just that; it's the number of players that we lost, all the sort of dodgy deals that were done for shirt revenue and sponsorship and all kinds of weird things that were going on. So we've got a lot of consolidation to do, and hopefully within the next couple of years we can get that sorted out and really just try and catch up with Celtic as quick as possible. So I think second's a realistic target for the club, and hopefully maybe a cup on top of that. But yeah, I would say that's probably sort of where we're at.
Possibly the most important question: are you under pressure hogging that toilet you're in at the moment?
Somebody out there charting the door, so yeah. Fortunately, you're only seeing the top half of me. You can't see I've got no trousers on.
Honestly, you know what it's like, Ruffy, anywhere to get a Skype call, but I just thought to myself, you can't sit in there and start talking football. People are in the big queue out there. It's mental. Just another point on that, Jim put some very good and balanced points across on this one. I mean, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is a name that's been thrown in the background as well. I just think the big question is, Derek McInnes, can you get the money? Can you give him assurances for the future?
I agree with what he says regarding Graham Murray. It's different when you're a caretaker to the permanent manager. There's not much pressure. I don't know how Graham Murray would cope being the Rangers manager, but when he's come in as caretaker, he's done a great job. But for me, that's 2 weeks now, and still nobody's heard anything. Surely they must be talking behind the scenes. They must have an idea or a short list of at least 3 managers, and hopefully get it done before the next home game against Hamilton, because it's important for the fans, for the players, everybody connected with the club. They know who's in charge.
And of course, if it's Derek McInnes, then there's a double header coming up against Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think it was one good point he touched on. Derek McInnes can't be seen to be looking to go to another club again. Yeah. Because the Aberdeen fans would just not bear that at all. Yeah, okay. You can give us your thoughts at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. After the break, we'll hear from Neil Lennon on English football. You happy with that, Ruffy? Did you nail that one? No, I'm on it again.
2007, did you go?
Yeah.
Yeah. In an Olympic year, you went 2007?
Yeah.
Okay. Just thought I'd check with you on that, and you were nowhere to be seen. Do you know what I love about him? He hates getting beaten at anything, doesn't he? Just the head goes down. You come and play tennis. Okay. So, Barry Ferguson is our bookroom guest Wednesday night as ever. We're going to switch to Neil Lennon. He's obviously been speaking over the last day or so about winning the Manager of the Month award, 3 wins and just that one solitary defeat against Aberdeen. But he hit back, and some of the back page headlines, Ruffy, is all about this tit for tat. I think they're great back page leads when you get a player like Tony Cascarino, who works obviously for TalkSport in England, has a pop, dismisses Celtic's achievement, 63 games, talks about the calibre of opposition they're facing, doesn't think it deserves any credit, and then goes through what I would call the usual 5 or 6 statements that are so wide of the mark, factually incorrect about the game up here. So Neil Lennon had a pop back at him and said, listen, I've watched some English games that would make your eyes bleed. They're, rank rot. Yeah, he's quite right as well. I think particularly the Monday night games and some Friday night games that you see Tuesday
are horrendous. Tuesdays and sometimes a Wednesday.
Brilliant, Ruffy. Just narrowing it down to days now.
Saturday games are all right, other than the big games.
But why do you need, I mean, honestly, I mean, apart from anything else, the more sensible person says, why do you need someone from England to offer some kind of credibility to anything? I mean, do we need acceptance for it? I think this country knows where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you know, like people down in England they want to throw their tuppence worth in.
Not all people, by the way.
No, not all, but a lot of them, you know. Yeah. And I don't know, Barry would experience it as well. When you're playing games like Scotland, England games, they don't even accept that you've got a chance to beat, you know, the game. Everything is, you know, where the teams that we play for, and we're coming down to play the mighty England, and you get down to Wembley, and you're just thrown about.
There's no better feeling beating them.
Well, that's what makes it a wee bit more acceptable. But that's the way it's always been. They don't treat anything we do up here, and you're right. The problem is they don't come up and see what we're doing. You know, they just look at a paper and take it for granted. If they came up and watched some of the games that we've had, and I mean, I'm talking about Kilmarnock games against Hamilton or something. They're really good games. I mean, that game last week at Hamilton I thought was superb.
Yeah, well, but I mean, let's be blunt about it and straight to the point here. You played in England, so you know exactly the kind of a disdain that some people look on our game, which is fine. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion on it. Kilmarnock against Hamilton's great, but it's at a certain level. My point is, in Scotland, we know our level. You know, and you know, at times, if you gain any credibility, if any of the clubs up here gain any credibility, I'll give you an example. I was working in Manchester when Rangers played Leeds United. You would have thought Rangers were there to make up the numbers. You know, and lo and behold, you know, McAllister scores, silences Ibrox, and then bang, bang, Rangers win it. Down there, Hateley silences the Leeds United fans in the game's a bogey.
I found that myself, what Ruffy was saying, when I went down there to play. They kind of just distance themselves. It's a dummy league.
Yeah.
But you ask any English player that's come up here to play, a lot of them have struggled.
Yeah.
Because it's a total different ball game up here. Okay, we hold our hands up and say it's not the most technical game, it's not as technical as down in England, but listen, you come up here, you need to be fit and you need to be up for a fight. And if you've seen in the last couple of years, there's quite a few players that have struggled.
Yeah, I would say this though, although you need to be up for a fight because maybe we don't have the technical players, I think at the point where you were playing 1998, 99, where slowly but surely Celtic were getting their act together, there was a lot of really good technical players at Rangers, great technical players at Aberdeen
I would
as
have
well.
took, when I played in that team, 99, 2000, 2001, both Rangers and Celtic, we'd have took anybody down in England. Without a doubt, in my mind, with the players that both Rangers and Celtic had. We had some top players. We just need to look back in the games, how well we've done in Europe. And if we played against the top four down there, I would have fancied my chances, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember one game, I'll never forget it, Ruffy. It was actually Celtic had beaten Blackburn Rovers, and one English journalist turned around to Martin O'Neill and said, you're not hoping you come up against a really, really good English team, and Blackburn Rovers had just beaten Arsenal the week before. I think they were sitting something like second in the league.
But that's why when that kind of thing happens, that's why you revel in it more than others. You know that what's been written in the papers beforehand, and then you're as you said, dismissed, and then you get down there and just prove them wrong.
The best game I've witnessed in the last year, easily, for atmosphere and just for the sheer drama of it, was Celtic against Manchester City. I mean, it was just incredible. I mean, 3-3, a noise like you've never heard, and Manchester City top drawer, but Celtic still managed to get a draw.
Manchester City fans, or people down there would have said Man City never had their strongest team. That's what they would say, and Celtic get a point. That's the sort of stuff that comes out. They don't say how well Celtic done in that night. And that's happened. It's like, I'll go back to the Scotland and England game at Hampden in the summer. It's all know how well Scotland done. It was England were poor on the day.
Yeah,
we were actually better than England on the day, I thought. Yeah, and we deserved to win. Apart from the mistake towards the end, we would have won the game.
Yeah. Over and above that, Neil Lennon's been mentioning the fact that he feels as if we've got a lost generation because younger players don't play as much football as they should. This is what the Hibs boss had to say about it.
I think everything will fall into place if and when we get successful national team again, competing in big championships. But for me, the short term is certainly looking at the grassroots and giving the kids the opportunity that they don't get at the minute. Kids are being priced out of football, and I think we're losing a generation of players where that wasn't the case before, and we need to go back to basics on that. When I was coming through the game, there was boys' clubs, you played for your school, we've got plenty of football. I'm just not sure the kids get enough football at a young age to progress into the formative years, 14, 16, and progress again. For me personally, the kids don't play enough football at the minute.
Kids don't play enough football.
I agree with every single word Lenny said there. It's the pro youth system. When they get took in, Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, Hearts, whoever, if they go in at 9-year-old or 10-year-old, they're not allowed to play with their boys' club, they're not allowed to play with their school team. I mean, going back to, I'll make myself, when I was a younger player coming through at 10 and 11, I played with my school team, I played with my select team, Lanarkshire Select, I played with my boys' club, and then I trained once a night with Rangers. So you're getting all different sides of it, and you're still playing with your pals. You're getting the professional coaching in at Rangers, but also you're going and playing in the basically like street football. So no, I agree with him. I agree totally that's where we need to change, and we need to start strip it all back and try something different. Because certainly there's not enough players coming through for me.
Yeah.
But there is still a lot of good young players. But I just don't think they're coached right or the system's right.
Yeah. Another thing about it, Ruffy, as well is, the more football you play, it's the love of it as well. Barry's talking about 3 or 4 different teams that he played for, but I bet you there was a game that you played that you thought, oh, I love this. There's not the same pressure, but I can still develop.
But Barry's touched on his games. We were talking about young players getting 100 games at senior. In a year when we were like 14, 15, we'd be playing 300 games. No, you'd be playing with your school team in the morning, you'd be playing with your amateur team in the afternoon. I played in an under 21 team on the Sunday when I was only 16. But that was 3 games in a weekend you're playing. You're playing.
Yeah,
100%.
Did you have any mates, Ruffy?
But what I'll go back to is these young kids. They'll go in and they'll train 4 nights a week, whatever club they're signed with. They'll play a game at the weekend, and then one of the training sessions will be recovery. They're only 12, 13-year-old. As Ruffy says, you're used to playing every single night. Used to play in the morning with my school team, the afternoon with my boys' club, and then Sunday whatever club I was training with at the time. But the full thing, it needs to change, and also when they go in and train with these clubs, it's repetitive. It's the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Give them a ball and let them go and express themselves.
Yeah, and what more on the technical aspect of it? I just feel as if, Ruffy, apart from anything else, about 1,000,001 coaches and people on the SFA course are probably throwing things at the telly right now and saying, wait a minute, you don't see everything that's going on. If anything, the only criticism I would make that maybe Scottish kids need to adopt the same approach as Andy Murray. You need to work even harder to make yourself better and at the level that we're all talking about that, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I would
20 years ago.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, but I would agree with that. But I mean, we had the chance to go to Des's thing that night, and a lot of the young players, a lot of the young up and coming players, and they all looked professional to me.
Yeah.
They all looked as if they knew exactly what they had to do to get to the top. So, we're not out there seeing what they're doing and everything. But that night in particular, I thought, Des's guys that he's looking after were behaving themselves perfectly well.
Yeah, and I think Harry Cochrane deserves all the praise, because a young man to get into that Hearts side at only 16 years of age, to get the confidence of Craig Levein as well. We wish him well, and more like him to put the work in. OK, final question, and then we're back with you. See, when you're 1 year out, Ruffy, there's nothing more annoying, is there? 1 year out.
I should know because it's usually me.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
1 year, why?
Yeah, he's 2004 and
I've not had a good
2006.
day.
What did you have?
2-3.
2-3. Oh, you weren't even in the running. Okay, lots to talk about in this part of the programme as well. One downside, and sometimes you actually think to yourself, in cricket they call it sledging. In football, pelters, you name it, you try and annoy the life out of your opponent. Sometimes it can get a bit nasty. There's allegations that a couple of Falkirk players just stepped over the line with Dean Shields. This is not the side of the game that I like to see. Kevin O'Hara and Joe McKee have been accused of excessive misconduct by the SFA. There are allegations in the papers this morning that they had a go at Dean Shields for just having one eye, Ruffy. For me, that's not acceptable if that is the case.
No, I think it just falls into the category, if found guilty, make an example of them. It's something we don't want to be seeing in this day and age. But, it'd be a sad thing if it was true. Really sad. Okay, there is banter in football and that. But, I don't think you stoop that low.
Yeah. Was there ever here's a situation for yourself. Was there ever a point where, it's like I always think of Materazzi against Zinedine Zidane. Is there ever a point where somebody really pushed you to the edge and you thought, I could maybe have a go at you here, I could knock you out?
There was stuff like, as Ruffy says, there was banter on the pitch and having a go, but nothing like that. I don't like to see that. Fair play to Dean Shields. I think he lost it. Was it 2006?
Yeah.
That he got the operation where that was it. He'd one eye, and you don't like to see things like that. And as Ruffy said, if they're found guilty, well, they need to get banned for a certain amount of games. Now, I think if you ask Dean Shields, they could call him whatever they want or have a go at him, but you can't come out with stuff like that. I don't like seeing that.
Maybe the two guys should show a bit of respect to a guy who has had the operation and he's still playing at the level that they two are playing at. That sums it up for me.
He's played at a higher level as well. He's done well. He's had a great career.
Rangers. Yeah, he's had a great career.
I know he played with Rangers in the lower leagues, but he still played with some decent clubs and had a very good career for losing his eye.
Yeah. Okay, we move on to what I think is going to be very positive stuff. I know it's a shock to you being a former Scotland captain. Ruffy's not really bothered about Scotland against Netherlands. He's going to be watching other games, Barry. He's snubbing the country that gave him 53 caps. That's all I'm saying to you.
It's not nice, that, is it?
No, can I put things into perspective here? This is not about me enjoying this game. This is about the guys who pull the shirts on. The young guys who are try and impress us, because they've been waiting for the chance and everybody's been talking them up, so put the jersey on, let's see what you can do.
Yeah, and will you have it on Series Link?
No. What?
No, will you have it on Series Link?
I don't even know what Series Link is.
will you be actually
I'm
watching?
thinking about getting up to see it.
No, you're not. I can't even remember the last time you were in Aberdeen. Anyway, apart from anything else, that's because, to be fair, I'm only winding him up. There's some cracking World Cup qualifiers. It's just absolutely fantastic. One of your old teammates, Steve Davis, is involved in a fantastic game. I really hope Northern Ireland can get over the two legs with Switzerland.
Well, they've done it in the Euros. They get through, and do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. They've not got the biggest squad. If you look through their squad, they've got guys playing League 2, League 1. I know Devils obviously Premier League player. They've got another couple who play in the Premier League, but for them to get where they've got in the last few years has been unbelievable. And do you know what? I hope they do it. Michael O'Neill's done a fantastic job there.
Yeah, it'd be great if they could get through. That would be brilliant. I think both halves of when you get the Irish, both North and South and Wales. Because it's so rare to get there, and I'd love us to be there as well, but usually the minnows England expect to be there. But if you get them there, it makes it such a colourful, and I think everybody's interested.
Well, the thing about it is Northern Ireland used to be there all the time. They had the same kind of players who all battled for each other, and they got to European and World finals. So I think this team as well, that if they could make it, it would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, isn't it amazing though that when you get to a major finals, the names of the players stick with you? you know, they're etched, as you mentioned there about the Great Northern Ireland side. It's etched in your head. You know, you kind of you can rhyme them off. You know, Jennings, Maldonaghy, Jimmy Nichols in there.
Jimmy Nichols part of the coaching staff as well.
Exactly. Well, never a better man to tell them all about it.
McElroy.
Yep. Whiteside, Jerry Armstrong,
McCreary,
Billy Hamilton. Brilliant, eh?
Yep.
Fantastic. This group have got a chance again. I mean, they've done it already, as you said, Barry. Republic of Ireland against Denmark. Is that a tougher game?
No, I fancy Republic of Ireland as well. I watched the Wales game. I looked at a stage during the qualifications that they weren't going to get there. I think they fell a few places down in the group, but I watched that. They deserved to beat the Welsh that night. I thought they came. Martin O'Neill obviously did a game planning. It worked perfect. I can see the two of them getting through.
Okay, so you've picked North and South. What about you? You going that way?
I think Northern Ireland will be harder. I think Republic, Martin usually grinds out a nothing each and then a last minute goal. So I think the Republic will go through that way. But I think Northern Ireland might struggle a wee bit.
Right, what does that mean? Out?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sitting in the fence.
No, right. Unfortunate.
Yeah, out. Okay, you've got to drag it out of them. Italy, Sweden. That's a tough call.
Italy.
Yeah.
Sweden's wasting their time.
Yeah.
That'll definitely be nothing each and then 1-0 somewhere.
I love the way you resort to stereotyping everybody. You know that.
Great.
You know,
we used to be watching Italian football, Roma, Napoli. They're buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
They're buzzing that way going forward now. It's not all Catenaccio. You know that, don't you?
But Buffon's there. He'll sort them out.
Right. Okay. Who are you going for?
Italy.
You going for Italy?
Italy.
Okay. Yep. I'll go for Sweden in this one. Just so that I can have that kind of a condescending look towards you too if it happens. Croatia or Greece? You don't really care, do you? Are they in the same bank as Scotland?
Okay, I went to Greece, my holidays, Greece.
Okay, so not really a lot of deep thought into it. Do you care? I mean, honestly, do you care either?
No, not really. But listen, Croatia, I know some of Croatia's players. They've got some great players.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I'll go Croatia. Because I was on holiday there a couple of years ago.
And you like the strip.
You know what I'm going to say this to you. Have you ever played a team where they've dragged you down to level? That's him. Don't get hooked into it, by the way. Put a bit of research into it. Listen, now, here's a point. We're talking about friendlies. Scotland have got Netherlands, but England and Germany, I expect Scotland to wear the poppy on Thursday, but England and Germany are wearing it on Friday night's game, which I think is a huge show of respect, because that's what it is. Yeah. It's not a badge to be worn to try and, ridicule anybody. It's not in mind political. It's just a show of solidarity and understanding and respect for people who gave their lives up. And I thought it was a great mention from the FA Chief Executive Martin Glenn in England, saying it's a show of solidarity and unity. Both of them wearing this one.
Yep, they didn't have to ask for permission, no.
I think
you have to now. You have to go through.
I think as long as you can go through the organisation that's running the tournament and the country you're playing.
Well, thankfully, whoever it was that said you couldn't the last time has come to some common sense, because it's exactly what you're saying, and obviously the England-Germany game epitomises that. Yeah. And I'm sure the display it'll be on will be spectacular, as it was when we were doing.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
It was magnificent. DFB president, this is Reinhard Grindel, says the armbands are not about political propaganda, but I thought this was a great line from him. He says, they're about remembering the kind of values that were kicked to the ground in 2 world wars, but are cherished by football: respect, tolerance and humanity. That, for me, sums it all up perfectly. So well done to them for that. The other interesting part of this is that the video assistant referee will be used. The VAR technology will be used in this game, which I think, for top flight football is going to be worldwide shortly.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, you've seen loads of instances in games People have been crying out for it, so it's good to see that it's come in. It needs it because there's a lot of doubt at times, and it's hard enough for the referees or the linesmen to make a decision, so it's good that this technology's come in.
Yeah, goals, red cards, mistaken identity and penalties, Ruffy. That's what it'll be used to sort out.
Yeah, well, that's the things that we all debate most than others, and there's nothing worse than, you know, you've seen something that, you know, it's a stonewall goal or whatever, and you lose the game through it. I mean, we keep thinking about that. What was it?
Yeah.
France and Thierry Henry, you know, with a handball.
Yeah, could have spotted that.
Could have put
Maradona's handball, the World Cup.
That was a good handball.
Frank Lampard, I think, scored an absolute raker from about
that
40
was in,
yards.
Yep, it was a chip.
The England goal against Germany in 1966, was it over the line? That would have been solved.
Zico free kick was never a free kick.
Yeah, I think you're ripping the back end out of it now, by the way. You know, at that point I thought you were going to save it. It just curls into the back of the net. I don't think that would have helped us then. From Ruffy, from Barry, from myself. Good night.